Welcome everyone to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Unboxing video. This time we are taking a look at Emperor of Darkness, another structure deck, and it is in fact a first edition, as you can see. So Emperor of Darkness is a deck that focuses on the Monarchs, sort of. It says the Monarchs are back to rule, as you can see right there. So here's just a quick look at basically the lineup of cards here in this deck. And as far as what it actually has, 36 commons, 2 ultra rares, and 3 super rares. Oh, and then 1 token card as well. So, yeah, pretty cool. You get 5 foils from this deck here. Let's go ahead and open it up real quick. So, this is definitely a one of my more personal favorites, only because I'm a big fan of Monarchs. I love their effects. I think they're very useful and powerful, of course. They're not broken by any means because Monarchs are actually very balanced, you know. Essentially, if you look at it in this way, you can say that for a Monarch, you get rid of a resource on your side of the field for a tribute summon to get rid of something on your opponent, you know? So it's kind of balanced in that way. Alright, so let's see here. I'm gonna get rid of that thing. So, here is the beginner's guide, as you can see. There it is. That's simple. And then here's the playmat. Now this one is using the pendulum zones left and right, because that was during that time, the pendulum era of course, but that's how it looks. And on the back side, you get to actually see, you know, the tips on the left, and then how to actually power up your deck. Breakers of Shadow, Dimension of Chaos, Duelist Pack Battle City, Clash of Rebellions, High Speed Riders, and then Yugi's Legendary decks as well. So, okay. Pretty cool. Now let's take a look at the actual, you know, cards here. So let's do this. So where is I can barely see here. Oh my god, does it actually not have one? Literally cannot feel that. I don't think it has one. Oh man. Well, in that case, I'm gonna have to just rip it off. Usually they have that little thing that you can just pop around and like loop around the entire set of cards, you know? You know what I'm talking about? Alright. So here are the cards. Once again, they are all first edition. These are some of the newer ones, so it's going to be down there at the bottom left and not up there. But yeah. So here's the first one once it focuses. Here we go. Ether, the Heavenly Monarch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Level 8. Let's read the effect. You can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 tribute summon monster. If this card is tribute summon, you can send 2 Monarch spell traps with different names from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. And if you do special summon 1 monster with 2400 or more attack, and basically the stats of a Monarch, right? Oh, sorry, I am. But return it to the hand during the end phase. During your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your hand, you can banish 1 Monarch spell trap from your graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon this card, and it's a quick effect. Kind of interesting. You can just pop onto the field. Interesting quick effect. Not one of the best things in the world for sure, but yeah, that's one ultra rare. The next ultra rare is this one. Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. Okay. So the beginning is the same, you know, if it's, you can send 2 Monarchs spell trap with different names from your hand or deck to your graveyard, and if you do, shuffle 1 card from your opponent's hand at random, graveyard, or their side of the field into the deck. Once per turn during your player's main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can discard 1 Monarch spell trap, then target 1 monster in your graveyard with 24 or more, yeah, so again, same Monarch stats. So these are basically like, these are kind of like the precursors to, or what do you call them? Eventually leading up to the Mega Monarchs, you know, kind of like that. Now we're going to move on to our supers. There's actually 3. First one is Eidos, the Underworld Squire. This is basically just Monarch support. I'm not going to read all these effects, but this is some good Monarch support, of course. It's a Squire. They got some Squires as well. Okay. Then we got Edea, the Heavenly Squire. It's another super rare. There we go. Okay. And the last one is actually it's actually a good card. Pantheism of the Monarchs. This one says, send 1 Monarch spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 3 Monarch spell traps from your hand. Your opponent chooses 1 for you to add to your hand and shuffle the rest back into your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. So basically, it's like it's one of those regular draw cards, you know, discard 1 card, draw 2, like Destiny Draw, Trade In, stuff like that. But then the second effect, it says banish it from the graveyard to reveal 3 from your deck. It's a mini painful choice as well, so that's why it's just too damn good and why it's limited currently. It is in fact limited. Alright, now we're going to look at the actual comments here. So, we got some cards here. So we got Kaias, the Shadow Monarch. Alright, so this is actually one of the better ones, because if it's tribute summon, you get to banish 1 card on the field and inflict 1000 damage to your opponent if it's a dark monster. Banishing any 1 card, honestly amazing. It's a power crab version of Zaborg. Zaborg is actually much weaker. It's one of the weaker ones technically because it says if it's tribute summoned, target 1 monster on the field, destroy that target. Yeah, you can kind of see it, right? Grandmark is also one of the weaker ones because you can basically target 1 set card on the field and destroy it. That's Grandmark, the Rock Monarch. Mobius is a powerful one. You can destroy. This one's optional. You can destroy up to 2 Speller Traps on the field. And we got Thestalos, the Firestorm Monarch. That lets you discard a card in your opponent's hand. And then Rise of the Storm Monarch. So that's interesting. That one lets you target 1 card in the field and return it to the top of the deck. Similar to Kaias because it lets you do any card in the field. But these are essentially your primary monarchs, each for 1 different element: dark, light, earth, water, fire, wind. There are some different ones, like for example, eventually Kura's the Light Monarch came around. That's another light one, and stuff like that. But those are actually your main monarchs right here, as you can see. I'm moving on to some other cards. So now we're going to move on to some support cards. We got the Shadow Vassals. We got Lucius. Then we got Mithra the Thunder Vassal. Actually, or I think that's actually Vassal, not Vassal, but I sometimes say Vassal. Landrove the Rock Vassal. Estra the Frost Vassal. Berlineth the Firestorm Vassal, as you can see. Garum the Storm Vassal. Okay, so these are basically the 6 ones once again, each one representing 1 different element. Then we got Illusory Snatcher, okay. Trigodia, that's always a good one. Dandelion, that thing is actually banned. Mathematician, Level Eater, that one's also banned. Battle Fader, and Rainbow Karibo. So these are all of your monsters. You can see all right here, all of these. Cool, right? Some additional support cards. Next up, we got Domain of the True Monarch as a field spell card. Then we get March of the Monarchs, Return of the Monarchs, the Monarchs Stormforth, Strike of the Monarchs, Tenacity of the Monarchs. Then we got Soul Exchange, so you can just tribute your opponents instead. Similar to, I think it's the Monarch Stormforth actually. Enemy Controller as well. Dice Foon, that's one of the better gamble cards. And Soul Charge is another banned card as well, so, okay. And then for traps, the Prime Monarch, the First Monarch, Escalation of the Monarchs, the Monarchs Awaken, the Monarchs Erupt, By Order of the Emperor, and Pinpoint Guard. A lot of spells and traps that are specifically, naming monarchs in the title, because a lot of them are specifically monarch support. You also get one of these, it's a token. This card can be used as any token, is what it says. Yeah, so that's cool. It says cannot be used or cannot be used in the deck. It is first edition though. First edition tokens. That's where the value's at, right? Not really. Alright, well, that's about it for the cards here. So, I mean, really the cool thing about this deck is just monarchs in general. Getting 1 copy each of these primary monarchs. Eventually if you wanted to make a Mega Monarch deck with some Mega Monarchs, that'd be pretty cool, but you gotta find those on your own as well, a little separately. But yeah, still some good support cards, some of these are actually good, specifically Pantheism of the Monarchs. This card is fantastic. It's nice to have it as first edition, because this one is actually a really good card. Yeah, so that's about it for this here. As always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, or subscribe if you've not done so already. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great and, of course, a fantastic day.